Coming up on OC News, Vice President Mike Pence visits the California-Mexico border wall, and U.S. citizens rally in support of the migrant caravan at the border. And Uber is facing a lawsuit by two separate women claiming sexual assault by its drivers.
Gas prices are rising, and finals are approaching, making many of us stressed. We'll have some tips from your fellow colleagues on how to conquer these last few weeks.
And coming up, I'm going to give you guys the latest scoop on what the ASI Production Street team are doing for finals week and what you can be looking forward to.
All this and more, OC News starts right now. Welcome. Thank you for joining us at OC News. I'm Vanessa Brintrup.
And I'm Matthew Kirkland. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
Struggles continue around the Mexico-U.S. border wall today as Vice President Mike Pence visited to check on construction and deliver words of encouragement to the border protection agents. Meanwhile, U.S. citizens also went to the border to rally in support of the migrant caravan that arrived there. In studio, Robbie King has more.
That's right, Vanessa. VP Mike Pence took a trip to the Calexico border today to take a look at the construction of the wall President Trump promised his constituents and to visit Border Control agents. CNN's Karen Kaifa has more.
For some, it's been a month-long, nearly 3,000-mile journey from countries like El Salvador and Honduras. The hope, entry into the United States.
We know that Trump has to open his heart, his good side. We're coming with plans to work. We're not coming to be a burden to the country.
Now, dozens of migrants on the Mexican side of the San Isidro port of entry say they'll stay as long as it takes for their chance to meet with U.S. officials to request asylum, a legal but not guaranteed way to be granted entry to the United States. But a U.S. Customs and Border Protection spokesman said they do not yet have the capacity to process their claims. This year's caravan getting more attention than before because of President Trump's repeated criticism.
It's a horrible, dangerous journey for them. And they come up because they know once they get here, they can walk right into our country.
And his plans to build a border wall.
We don't have borders. We're going to build the wall. We're getting it. We've already started.
President Pence traveled to Calexico, California Monday to review a portion of that wall that is being repaired and meet with Customs and Border Protection employees.
President Trump and I are absolutely committed to seeing to the construction of a border wall, but also reforming our immigration laws.
Earlier this month, the Trump administration authorized the deployment of up to 4,000 National Guard personnel to the southern border. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
In addition to proponents of the wall, there were also people making the trip south to the border to show their support for the immigrants and let them know that they are not alone in this fight.
Refugees are welcome here! Refugees are welcome here!
This large group of immigration advocates marched on a sandy trail and along the beach to get to the U.S. side of Friendship Park. Most of the way, they yelled this chant. One that was echoed by those on the Mexican side of the border. Some flew kites with "Welcome Refugees" in English and Spanish, as those on the U.S. side tried to reassure those who are seeking asylum.
We welcome the Central American refugees. You are welcome here.
The border wall and immigration has long been a hot-button issue, and it looks like both sides will continue to fight for what they believe is best for the country. Back to you guys at the desk.
Uber drivers have been accused of sexual assault or abuse within the past 4 years, according to a CNN investigation. Many of the women involved in the cases had been drinking at the time of the alleged attacks. One woman from Long Beach says in 2016, she fell asleep in the back of an Uber driver's car while drunk and woke up with the driver assaulting her. The driver was arrested the following day, but the charges were ultimately dropped. The woman is currently suing Uber. At least 31 of the drivers have been convicted for crimes ranging from forcible touching to rape, but dozens of cases are still pending.
Get out your bicycles and skateboards. It's about to get more expensive to drive around. Sunday marked the 20th day in a row that gas prices have increased. Prices are expected to continue rising in Southern California. In Los Angeles County, the average price of gas is $3.54 and $3.50 in Orange County. The increase is due to the switch from the winter blend to summer blend gasoline.
The end of the semester can be a stressful time for students. Matthew Kessler asks a few students how they cope with the stress.
Hi, I'm Matthew Kessler here at Cal State Fullerton's Quad, asking students how they deal with stress during finals. Here are a few tips.
Oh, usually I try not to procrastinate. I mean, here in college, I mean, it's important not to procrastinate.
Time management, I guess. Time management's pretty good. Just balancing everything, school, work, everything. Take time off when you need it. I mean, it can't help.
Try to get as much sleep as I can and manage my time.
I think the best thing to do is prepare earlier. I know some professors are a little bit lagging as far as putting the study guides. So ask if you could get it in advance. If not, just start preparing now if you think you know what's going to be on. That's the easiest thing I would say.
The best way you can prioritize your time would be make a set schedule. Look at it, do what you got to do with it, and make sure you make time to set everything aside for what you need to do.
Get yourself a dog. Dogs are awesome.
I agree. Yeah. Animals like help out a lot.
Especially when the school has like their therapeutic dogs. Oh my God, it's the best.
Well, you heard it, Titans. I hope those tips were helpful. For OC News, I'm Matthew Kessler.
The ASI Productions team will be hosting night events during the week of finals. Reporter Sharon Cardona has the latest.
I'm outside at the TSU where big things are happening at ASI headquarters. They're going to have a study night event where I had the privilege of talking to Megan Duffy, the ASI production director, who can give us more insight. And I asked some students what they feel about finals. Take a look.
We're going to have a variety of activities,
When
such
they're
as
done.
massages. We'll have reptiles that students can pet. We'll have some different food. On the first night, we're going to do a breakfast theme. And on the second night, more of a video gamer snack theme with mozzarella sticks, chicken fingers, fun things that students like to eat. We're going to be doing all-night study, which takes place on 2 different nights. One of them is on May 7th, the week before finals, and the other will be on May 14th, which is the week of finals.
I'm stressed. I pull all-nighters, and I drink plenty of Monsters.
Let me know
bring
when to
snacks,
talk.
energy drinks,
Let me know when
caffeine,
to talk.
a blanket, bring snacks, energy drinks, caffeine, a blanket. Yeah, some people fall asleep in here. We actually had a room last year where we all camped out for like a whole day or 2, and it was pretty insane. Yeah.
I brought a box of Monsters, Cheetos, like just a bunch of treats for everybody.
Yeah, some people fall asleep in here. We actually had a room last year where we all camped out for like a whole day or 2, and it was pretty insane. Yeah.
I brought a box of Monsters, Cheetos, like just a bunch of treats for everybody.
I personally do flashcards. I try and start early though, and if I'm being honest, get a good night of sleep the night before.
So don't forget, these late night events are going to happen the week before finals and during finals. If you would like to see the things that are going on during campus, you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook with ASI CSUF. My name is Sharon Cardona, reporting for OC News.
With the semester coming closer to an end, many students will be graduating, and many new students will be attending for the first time this upcoming fall semester. Incoming freshmen made up more than half of the applications for fall of 2018. Our reporter, Nikki Justice, went out to get some advice for our prospective freshmen.
With a record number of 75,560 undergraduate applications for the fall 2018, approximately 51,000 of them were first-time freshmen. I decided to go out and ask students what advice they would give to incoming freshmen.
Take like 15 to 16 units a semester and start your major classes early.
Definitely do everything on time, especially the financial aid papers, because both times I forgot them. So it could end up giving you way more money than it did before.
I would say to remain true to yourself and not like fall into an identity that the world and society wants you to portray, but like just really possess like who you are and try to live that out in the best and kindest way.
If you live far, don't commute. Learn that the hard way.
Another one I would say is do not procrastinate. Old habits die super duper hard.
and coming in as a freshman, I thought I could continue with like getting by with procrastinating, but it doesn't happen in college, so that's a big one.
As you can see, there are a variety of different answers for incoming freshmen. As a graduating senior, my advice would be take as much time as you can here and also use your resources. It's really important. I'm Nikki Justice with OC News.
Last week, we concluded this year's Calm Week, celebrating the event's 40th anniversary. It was another successful year, and reporter Kendall Hill gives us an overview of what Calm Week is and what we can expect for next year.
I'm here at the Student Union at the TSU on Cal State Fullerton's campus, where Calm Week has just concluded. 57 speakers came to give their knowledge and professional advice to the students as they graduate. Let's go take a look.
This year was our 40th anniversary, which is our Ruby anniversary. The first time we had a Calm Week was in 1978, and so in 2018, it's our 40th anniversary. And so to celebrate, we wanted to make it an especially special event by having so many great speakers.
Calm Week itself, what we do is we bring dozens and dozens of speakers to campus. These are all speakers in communications related professions, and oftentimes quite a few of them are alumni as well. And it's an opportunity for them to speak back, talk about what they do professionally, and to give insight and even to offer some networking opportunities for our students. Next year will likely be another 4-day Calm Week, and so we will probably have quite a few events going on. In addition to all the speakers that we are planning to bring on campus, we are also hoping to host most of the clubs as well. So there are a number of different communications clubs in our college, and each one of them has a night or a day that they will take up, oftentimes in the Titan Student Union, and they will have an event that corresponds to what the club does.
Every spring semester, Cal State Fullerton hosts Calm Week, but this semester we celebrate its 40th annual anniversary. We're excited to see what's in store for next year. I'm Kendall Hill, OC News.
Cell phone providers T-Mobile and Sprint are seeking a $26.5 billion merger. Yesterday, T-Mobile President John Legere announced the agreement on Twitter, saying the merger will be, quote, a force for positive change for all of us consumers and businesses, end quote. The two companies had tried merging in 2014 for $32 billion, but ultimately pulled out over antitrust concerns. The concerns still exist, but T-Mobile and Sprint are hoping Ajit Pai, the new chair of the FCC, approves their agreement. If approved, Sprint would dissolve and the two companies would go by T-Mobile moving forward. A deal between the two would make T-Mobile the second largest wireless provider, only behind Verizon. Sprint CEO Marcelo Claure also thinks the new T-Mobile can provide customers with a better experience by introducing 5G to the American marketplace. Experts aren't so keen on the deal, however. Blair Levin, a policy advisor for the New Street Research, said, quote, the general view on Wall Street is that a result of the deal, there are likely to be job cuts and prices are likely to rise, end quote. There is no date set on when the FCC plans to decide on the merger.
Los Angeles County plans to spend $430 million to alleviate homelessness, according to Mayor Eric Garcetti's 2018 through 2019 budget. Orange County leaders discussed solutions for our own action plan here at Cal State Fullerton on Friday. Vanessa has the story.
County officials, homelessness advocates, and other community leaders gathered in the TSU this Friday for an extensive panel to end homelessness. Speaker Bex Hayhoe of Orange County United Way explained models to end homelessness, including the older Treatment First model, which is being phased out.
With that, the idea is that they have to sort of fix whatever is wrong before they are given the reward of housing. If we were to house and provide the services for all of our chronic homeless population, that's through permanent supportive housing, we would save $42 million per year.
Instead, the newer Housing First model says we should give homeless people a permanent place to stay in addition to supportive services to keep them on their feet.
I am actually a graduate of Cal State Fullerton. Go Titans!
Titan grad Kelsey Brewer of the Association of California Cities for Orange County agrees.
We have kind of always been asking the question of how do we end chronic homelessness? And we know how. We know it's through permanent supportive housing, but we're trying to answer the question of how many do we need?
She says the county needs 2,700 new permanent supportive housing units in order to fix the problem in the long run. Attendees then dispersed into breakout sessions to discuss different aspects and solutions of the homelessness crisis.
The answer is going to your neighbors and saying, you have to have a leap of faith for humankind and allow this facility in our neighborhood.
The way that things are going right now, everything, you can be a student and be homeless. You're like hanging out at somebody's dorm all the time because you don't have a house. You're sleeping in your car. I mean,
libraries open.
Libraries. I mean, do what you can. This is ultimately something that you probably know somebody who's done this.
One solution CSUF has offered is the Titan Basic Needs Center. Students are encouraged to visit the center if they are lacking in basic needs such as hygiene products and other goods. The event ended with closing remarks from Cal State Fullerton's president, Fram Vergee.
The issue of homelessness, food insecurity is clearly an issue in Orange County, but it's also real on our campuses, in our classrooms, in this very building where we have students all the time.
Coming up, we'll reveal which famous boy band finally received their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and which Glee star got engaged.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A boy band from the early 2000s receives a Hollywood honor on And what movie broke opening weekend records? Amanda has this and more for entertainment. Amanda?
Thank you, Matt. Let's start off with a big reunion that happened earlier today in Hollywood. For everyone who grew up in the early 2000s, this is for you. NSYNC received their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. All the members of the famous boy band gathered for the first time in 2 years for the unveiling ceremony. And yes, even Justin Timberlake was there since he is currently in LA for his tour. Both Ellen DeGeneres and Carson Daly gave the speech, and hundreds of fans gathered along Hollywood Boulevard, packing both sides of the street to try and catch a glimpse of the group. Fans even began singing one of the band's popular singles, Tearing Up My Heart. Congrats to NSYNC for their star achievement. And another big success for Disney's Marvel Universe as Avengers: Infinity War unsurprisingly dominated the box office. Infinity War made $640 million worldwide in its opening weekend. This smashed box office records for the biggest worldwide opening and domestic opening. In fact, it's the biggest opening weekend ever. Disney now holds 9 of the 10 top biggest openings in North American history. In Avengers: Infinity War, Iron Man, Thor, and the rest of the Avengers team up to battle the most powerful villain in the universe, who plans to steal all 6 Infinity Stones to inflict his will on all the worlds. Actress Lea Michele is engaged. The 31-year-old Glee alum announced the good news on Instagram over the weekend, showing off her gigantic 4-carat diamond ring given to her by her boyfriend, Zandy Rich. She captioned the photo saying yes, along with the ring emoji. Michele and Rich have been together for over a year now, having first been romantically linked in July 2017. That's all I have for entertainment. Vanessa and Matt, back to you.
Coming up in weather, prepare for wind and rain in Fullerton. Jessica has more on the recent timber fire that has affected Arizona landowners.
Arizona had an effect in the air quality when they had a burning fire in their canyon, affecting near Mislo and Coconino County. As you see in the pictures, they were forced to evacuate because of the fires that were very affecting the air quality. And as you see, we're moving on to the wind chills. You see up in the north, there's 30s and 40s, and then expect to see it coming down to the near Southern California. And you expect cold winds soon Moving on to now, we'll see that today was actually cold and windy out of nowhere. And now you see it's going to be, later on in the week, it's going to be very warm for the holidays coming up. And wind chills, for the rain, you see the lower, there's coming down the green. It's, what is it? The rain's coming to Southern California, coming from the north. And it's low pressure is going to the Wyoming to North Dakota. And the low pressure for tomorrow, as you can see, is moved to California, and the high pressure from North Dakota to us. The current temps are 66 today, the low 55, the wind 9 miles per hour. As you could see, it was really windy today and cold. The humidity was 58%. Sunrise was 6:03 a.m. Sunset 7:34 p.m., nice and late in the afternoon. The current temp you see for the U.S. actually, the lowest you see are in the low pressure are in the California and the high pressure in North Dakota. And the current temp reaching 41 in East Coast, and the highest in 80 in Kansas and 86 in Texas. And the 5-day forecast is 63 on Tuesday, and you see it's from low going towards higher, towards the holidays. So Cinco de Mayo and May the 4th be with you are going to be very warm and sunny. Back to you in the studio.
Today in Health, learn about the benefits of yoga, a promising new treatment for Alzheimer's, and why some think children should stop playing football at a young age. Here's Casey Gonzalez with all the information.
Thanks, Matt. According to recent studies of people in their late 40s, yoga may help relieve lower back pain and improve functionality. Yoga poses will stretch the muscles and improve flexibility by practicing a combination of physical poses with breathing exercises. The National Institute of Aging stresses the importance of making safety your top priority, finding a yoga instructor who understands your needs, and listening to your body. Make sure to talk to your healthcare provider to see if this is safe for you. A new treatment for Alzheimer's could be a game changer from those suffering from it. It appears to reverse signs of the disease in the brain. At the Boston Center for Memory, the clinical director, Paul Solomon, says there is a vaccine aimed to treat people in the early stages of Alzheimer's. This vaccine is designed to remove the pathology from the brain that is killing the brain cells. So far, those who have received treatment from this clinical trial have noticed positive changes. Sports might be a great way to keep kids active, but a study of football players finds that the earlier you start playing, the more vulnerable you are to developing CTE. CTE is a progressive degenerative brain disease often found in football players. Scientists believe it is caused by recurring head trauma. Its symptoms include depression, aggression, and disorientation, but it can only be diagnosed after death. Nearly 250 football players' brains were studied, and 211 of them were diagnosed with CTE. Researchers discovered that kids who start playing before the age of 12 have an early onset of these symptoms, and that playing tackle football lowers one's resilience by 13 years. That's all for today's Health. Back to you guys at the desk.
Great white shark researchers may soon have additional funding from the state thanks to the passing of Assembly Bill 2191, known as the White Shark Population Monitoring and Beach Safety Program. Shark sightings have increased in the last few years in coastal communities like Huntington Beach and Long Beach. The bill's undisclosed funds would be dispersed over 5 years to research groups along the coast. If the bill is passed by the Appropriations Committee, the sharks could be tracked in real time, allowing for some killer new data and safety precautions.
Still ahead on OC News, fashion, food, and plenty of dancing. It's all on campus tonight, and we'll have a live report.
And in sports, a first for the NFL. We'll explain after the break.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's hit those pearly whites, man.
Yeah! The boys, check it out. Stand up, do my chair is gonna compare us. Go!
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's the sound? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
The NFL draft took place, men's baseball and women's softball keep extending their conference lead, and the NBA playoffs headline an action-packed weekend in sports. Here is Hoon in the studio.
Thank you, Matt. The 2018 NFL draft took place in Dallas, where the Cleveland Browns, with the #1 overall pick, took Oklahoma Sooner Baker Mayfield. Questions about Mayfield's on and off-field antics did not stop the Cleveland Browns from taking the former walk-on quarterback. Mayfield was one of the first of 5 quarterbacks selected in the first round, with Sam Clemente's own Sam Darnold taking 3rd overall by the New York Jets, and Josh Rosen, who played at St. John Bosco's, was drafted 10th overall by the Arizona Cardinals. History took place on the 3rd day of the NFL draft when the Seattle Seahawks, in the 5th round, drafted Central Florida's linebacker Shaquem Griffin. Griffin became the first one-handed player in the modern NFL draft to be drafted. He will join his brother Shaquille Griffin, who was drafted in the 3rd round by the Seahawks last year. Freshman Ryan Williams' first base hit would come at an opportune moment, giving the Titans the go-ahead RBI in the 11th inning. The 7-6 victory over UC Irvine gave the first road sweep series since 2015, improving their record to 22-20 and 9-3 in conference play. The boys will be in action on Friday with the series against UC Riverside. The softball team won in dramatic fashion as Michaela Francis hit a walk-off home run to defeat UC Davis. The ladies are on a roll with their 8th straight victory and concluded the series sweep over UC Davis. This improves their overall record to 29-20 and 14-1 in conference play. Next up will be UCLA on Tuesday. In Cleveland, LeBron James and the Cavaliers would face a gritty Pacers team in Game 7. James would not disappoint, leading the Cavs in all 5 major statistical categories. The Cavs would need all of James's 45 points as the Cavs nearly edged the Pacers 105-101. James finished the series averaging 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game. No time to rest for the Cavaliers as they take the #1 seed Toronto Raptors on Tuesday. The top-seeded Houston Rockets had no problem dismantling the Utah Jazz in the first game of the Western Conference semifinal. James Harden was an unstoppable force on the offensive end as he would finish the game with 41 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. The Rockets defeated the Jazz 110-96. The Jazz will try to bounce back on Wednesday in Game 2. That is all for sports. Now back to the desk.
A celebration for cultures with special performances will be taking place tonight. Our reporter Sochi Lagunas is live at the TSU Pavilion with all the information. Sochi?
The Association for Intercultural Awareness presents their 8th annual Cultural Couture event here at Cal State University Fullerton. The event will take place tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. inside the TSU Pavilion ABC. Doors will be open at 6:30 p.m., so if you like to be early, you're more than welcome to stop by. Let's take a look. Something to keep in mind is that they're still getting ready. They're prepping everything up for people to come. If you look right behind me, dancers are getting ready, practicing their performances, and on the right, there's food being set up and yummy, delicious treats on the back. So if you're free today from 7 to 9 p.m. and you're here at Cal State Fullerton, come by and bring your friends and have fun. That's all I have for today. Xochitl Lagunas reporting for OC News, back at the studio.
That's all for today's episode of OC News.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at the handle OC News CSUF.
Thank you and have a good night.
OC News is sponsored in part by Univision Communications, Southwest Airlines, and Casanova McCann.